Creative Jordan actually was started by an economist, not a .com, not a young guy, a traditional economist and one of Jordan's leading economists. And he said, and he writes articles in some of the mainstream media, and he said there are 10,000 steps that Jordan must work on, small steps, some of them are small, some of them are big, to transform our economy. Jordan is made up of our natural resources, our people. We are 6 million people, 70% are under 30 years old. The only wealth we have is people and our abilities. So what we did after Dr. Yusuf Mansour, this economist partner of mine who started Creative Jordan, after he started this discussion in mainstream media, we started to think, how do we turn it into a movement? How do we grow it more than an article in a daily paper or in a weekly or in a monthly publication? So we started a social network. And the social network takes for granted that people are having a conversation online. It takes for granted that online is connecting a diversity of people. So that is our ground floor. And we said, let's talk about what we can do offline. The value of having this conversation online is it draws all sorts of people. We have ministers, economists, bloggers, artists, young people, ambassadors, foreign, Jordanian, some passing by, some inside Jordan. And there are so many topics that are being discussed with people paying attention how they can change their lives offline. Some of them, a lot of the discussions are about education, because at the end of the day, when people transform their lives, when they want to take a leap forward, what are the tools, what are the strengths that they have? Probably knowledge, access, a network, a community to fall back on. So on Urdun Mubda, Creative Jordan, there's a very wide variety of conversations taking place. There are a few who have started activism offline, and it's only a year-old community, very small, very new. There's a social activist, Raghda Boutros, who started to work with a certain community in Amman. And there was a development project going on that was really going to change the fabric of life in that community. And she is a social activist by nature. And she started her conversation online. That online conversation engaged the mayor and his office, development people, architects, archaeologists, experts, all sorts of experts that it's very difficult to do in real life, actually, to lobby, etc. And this conversation grew from a simple discussion, one forum and a very long thread that pulled in a lot of different people and diversity. And today, Hamzat Wasl, she calls it, is an offline social activism movement that works with the community of people in Amman to engage them back in an active life. There's another young sociologist who's still doing her PhD in England, and she said, I want to talk about honor crimes and what is this social phenomena that allows certain men to go through this violence against women, and how is it that a culture accepts it? And she started, by nature, this is what she wants to do as a person. And she started this conversation on Creative Jordan, and today she has her own social network on honor crimes. The banner is, there is no honor in the crime, and it's a movement that engages people offline, but the conversation and the challenge and the real brain sort of matter that challenges each other and takes a conversation to another level is happening online, and the work is happening offline. And that's very important, because at the end of the day, where are our lives? Sure, we found this access, this freedom, this connectivity, etc., but we want to change our lives offline. Everybody wants to change their lives offline. I don't know if it's, is it ease of visa, is it travel, is it whatever, but now we have a golden opportunity to use this tool and use this whole new fabric of community and communication and be very aggressive in changing our lives. And when we engage a diversity of people, not only the same demographic or people that would be on your Facebook page anyway or on your community, people who don't know each other, who have really no vested interest except to be able to deliver something that benefits them and benefits their community probably. Dr. Yusuf Mansour, the creator and the sort of inspiration behind Creative Jordan, he's also put another challenge, because his background has worked with government. He's a consultant that works on policy with the private sector, with the public sector. He's like, as we build this list of 10,000 steps towards a Creative Jordan, we will create movements. We will create lobbying. We will create a certain formula that works with policy, with the government, with people in charge to be able to change things and transform things. And so it's a very focused conversation on transforming the economy of Jordan. And this is on one end. On the other end, because Jordan is made up of young people, a very young generation, diversity, very little natural resources except creative capital, human capital. One of the areas in our industry that we should probably focus on are the creative industries. The industries from architecture and art and publishing and technology, etc., that are dependent on individual people's skills and abilities. And out of these creative abilities, they make these products. And we want to try and get the Jordanian government, the investment board, the policy, the different entities in the public sector to be able to position Jordan as a country that can grow its own creative industries and to be able to invest in. And this is difficult in a country that has never believed this before. And in Arabic, creative industries are صناعات الإبداعية, and creative economy is الاقتصاد الإبداعي. And in Arabic, it sounds strange. It's not even a language that we're used to. What does this mean? What does this really mean? You're either an engineer or you're building buildings or whatever. And so we really want to try and change and transform a language and a mindset, as well as be able to benefit individual companies, etc. And this is very important because as the online world becomes the basis of how we live, right now, there's a whole generation that was born that cannot even identify with a life before online. We have to be able to transform our offline worlds. We have to be able to really take this in our own hands and change it around. Because, for example, in Jordan, civic engagement in public policy and politics is very little. It's frustrating. It's not an encouraging system. There's a lot of talk about it, and we all want it, but very few people do it. And so if we can really grow this online conversation and create new relationships, new alliances, and really elevate what people want to do, it'll be phenomenal. And it's interesting because on Creative Jordan, Urdun Mubda', the conversation has a lot of diversity, but it's very tolerant. And people from all walks of life are engaging, and they are arguing, and they disagree, and they don't agree on a lot of things. And some of the conversations are political, some of them are social. But at the end of the day, everybody wants more or less the same thing, and that is a basic human nature and basic human need, which is access and engagement. At the end of the day, that's the only thing people need.